They're trying to get their formation going, trying to get their formation working. Hibs is a little bit different to what we probably thought, but then there's still a very positive move by Alec Miller.
Free kick given there as John Collins came busting forward in the inside right channel. So very interesting indeed to see Mark McGraw make the starting lineup. He's played only twice before, or started the match in the first team only twice before this season, both times against Falkirk and Brockville. And on neither occasion did Hibs find the net. There's something of a gamble. The introduction of McGraw, who was signs a very promising teenager from north of £175,000. Peter Grant showing his concern about the opening stages of the match to his teammates. So the throw will be taken by Darren Jackson. So frequently beside Keith Wright as a orthodox striker, at this time starting the match in midfield. Grant again with a pass that's cut off by Miller. Miller, the Hibs manager, was very disappointed in the way in which his team went about the match on Friday night. He was concerned about the space given to Celtic, especially in midfield. He wants the game played shorter and tighter. He also has introduced another attacking weapon for this match. It's a positive move by the Hibs manager. In fact, Terry, all 6 players in front of the back 4 for Hibs really have goal-scoring instincts.
Yes, that's correct, Jock. I think he'd be looking for Michael O'Neill, especially number 11, to get on the ball a lot more than he did in the first match, and he was end up coming back and trying to force defensive tackles on the Celtic midfield players coming through. So he'll be looking for him to get on the ball and create the sort of magic and weave the sort of magic that a lot of people have seen him do this year.
So the 3 men in midfield, and right in the heart of midfield, McGinley, O'Neill and Jackson, the scorer of 31 goals for Hibs this season. O'Neill with 13, Jackson with 11, and Pat McGinley joining the club at the end of October with 7. It's an important threat from midfield. That's Keith Wright leaping, and McGraw going through swiftly. Pretty stalled away though by Tommy Boyd. Faulkner asked to use his aerial power. Here's Brian McLaughlin. That's well blocked by Millen. Headed away by Willie Miller. That's Harper. On the way there for the Celtic throw. Brian McLaughlin is still to score for Celtic's first team. Tweed with Faulkner. Faulkner penalised, a little bit of pushing there. It does give Celtic that extra aerial threat up front, though. Former Watford and Sheffield United player, starting out with Aberdeen. Yes, a lot of people thought that with Pierre Van Hooydonk out of the team, that Stephen Tweed would dominate in the air, but Willie Faulkner is more than an able substitute for the big Dutchman. He gets his arms up, he gets himself about, and he flicks balls on and scores important goals himself. So Celtic really haven't lost a lot by Pierre Van Hooydonk's absence. Andy Millen takes this free kick for Hibs. Headed away well by Collins, but straight to McGinley, the former Celtic player. Tweed has stayed forward. Well tackled by Brian O'Neill. Also appears to handball against Walker, but McGinley's one possession for Hibs in any event. This is Harper. Plenty of pace too coming from that Hibs midfield. Harper very well tackled by Collins. Walker turning it back to McKinley. The momentum lost there as Collins started a counter-attack. It's good play by Jackson. Willie Miller looking for Jackson through the middle. McGraw went into the same area there. Poor clearance gives Keith Wright possession. This is Harper. Didn't make contact. Tosh McKinley. It's a goal kick to Celtic. Kieran Harper, the 19-year-old who has played up front so frequently for Hibs this season, a very promising young player.
Yes, he's got an exciting pace. He has great ability on the ball, a lot of confidence. People think he possibly didn't give a good account of himself as he normally does in that first game, but Andy Miller's played him in a different role on that right-hand side, enabling him to take on Tosh McKinley and deliver the goods. Unfortunately, on that occasion, he went for a goal kick.
Left flick on from Faulkner. Taken on there by Keith Wright, who's now moved through the middle to join McGraw. bit of interchanging among the Hibs players. They're ideally suited to that in this formation. Hogan again doing well in the air. This time Andy Millen dropped off him, picked up the loose ball. They brought him again. This is what he's so good at, breaking from midfield. Trying one man too many there. The one who won possession was John Collins. Here's McLaughlin. Barker sprinting free on the right, but that's forward to Walker. A great chance here for Celtic. Excellent football from Celtic, inspired by Brian McLaughlin, coming from midfield.
As he takes on Stephen Tweed, a lovely little ball inside to Andy Walker. Just toe pokes the ball, too late, and they come out well to narrow the angle. The ball just past the far post. Lovely little ball by Brian McLaughlin. Andy Walker lets the ball run across him with his left foot, but puts it about 3 yards wide. It's important for Hibs, especially with their attacking midfield through, that they don't allow the Celtic midfield to break on them, as has happened with Brian McLaughlin.
Well, that message was conveyed from the Hibs bench instantly that move developed. Alec Miller dropped his squad as number 2 on their feet, gesticulating to the players. Here's Keith White. Well challenged by Boyd, and Boyd's pace in central defence so important to Celtic against a fast attack. It's going to be a hold up here. Damage inflicted on Andy Walker. Well, this would be a major blow to Celtic, having lost Pierre Van Hooijdonk already. Andy Walker showing his instincts in front of goal there.
This is Keith Wright going in at one end with Tommy Boyd. Tommy Boyd does well here. Doesn't quite win the ball, but to make sure that Keith Wright doesn't go on with the ball.
Andy Walker appears to be all right. He and Willie Faulkner started in the Celtic first team this season as the striking partners. They played 3 matches in a row together. Then they've been separated for most of the season, with a total of 7 so far together, during which they managed a total of only 3 goals.
I think the view of Andy Walker's injury wasn't ready for family viewing, to be honest, so good work by the Celtic physio.
And a player on the ground as Hibs have possession here. The game, I think, will stop swiftly because it looks as though there's some head damage. And it's Mark McGraw who's in distress. A bang in the head. Referee Rowbottom authorises attention instantly. Well, really, it's a very interesting tactical duel at this stage, Terry. And what do you think Alec Miller really had in mind with that team selection?
I think with Alec Miller's obviously trying to get his message across to the players. He's been shown back by the 4th official there, which he had to get a yard within the dugout. But he'd be quite pleased with the start. But what he's trying to do is to try and get Michael O'Neill on the left-hand side on the ball a lot more, to try and get balls into the box for Mark McGraw and for Keith White. But trying to use Kevin Harper's pace where he didn't quite use it in that first game. A flank position and taking on one defender. So he's removing a little bit of defensive duties, but he's able, obviously, he's struggling to get more of the ball.
And Tommy Burns there, sticking largely with the system he employed on Friday evening, and he's certainly entitled to do that in the light of the domination that Celtic enjoyed in that match. Right back on from McGraw. There's Harper, a long way out there to attempt to header on goal against the goalkeeper of the ability of Pat Bonner. Bolton again showing himself up front. The bounce the ball was awkward. Hefty tackle there from Peter Grant, and Pat McGinley has words with his former teammate. Well, Michael O'Neill was the real victim of that challenge. It was a very heavy one by Grant.
Yes, that was a bit late there by Peter Grant. The ball was there to be won. It got caught in between Michael O'Neill's legs, and the referee obviously straight on top of that.
Tom Boyd's header away. Kept in well by Vata. Stephen Tweed trying to maintain the excellent form he showed, especially in the second half on Friday evening. 22-year-old centre-half, been with the club since he was a youngster. The throw this time goes to Hibs. Rudy Barker's made a very late introduction to the Celtic team this season. It's his 4th consecutive match. He hadn't played in the first team until those last 4 matches. Albanian international. Mitchell towards McGinley. That's good play by McLaughlin. He's away from O'Neill. Brilliant play from Brian McLaughlin. Michael O'Neill sticking to his task, the Northern Ireland international. Here's McStay. Now McLaughlin. Good running by McStay again. Supported from behind by Bata. That was McGinley. And this is Ball. Good play by McStay. The pass intended for Walker. He made a diagonal run across the box. Grant now to Walker. Well, you can see the intention clearly there, trying to flight that towards the far top corner with a swerve. Jim Leighton appeared to fill the goal there. Harper, with a little right through the middle. McStay again, becoming much more influential on the play. Bata. McLaughlin, one of those players who wants the ball played to him when he is being marked. He's so skillful in tight situations. Across it goes to Tosh McKinley. Collins forward. This is Walker screening the ball. Back it goes towards Grant. In goes Andy Millen. No quarter given there. Both players on their feet instantly. This is Collins. McStay making a good position there for Vata. Willie Faulkner peels off for the driven cross. Well, Faulkner again complaining the ball wasn't hung up for him there. He wanted it hanging in the air to attack it. So the match being played at the moment, largely in the Hibs half. Here's John Collins. Watched carefully by Jim Leighton as it goes over the crossbar to safety. Well, he's been exposed once in the match so far. Andy Walker shot wide, but that apart. It's a quiet time.
Yes, it's quite apparent at the moment that, especially Andy Walker must be a bit disturbed that the quality of the Celtic ball into the penalty area has been quite poor, as it was in the first match here on Friday night. They've got in some great positions, Celtic, in behind the Hibs defence, and a chance to get the good telling ball into the box, and they've failed on quite a few occasions. Had they got that good ball into the box, they could have put the Hibs, and especially Jim Leighton, under a lot more pressure.
Bolton again, expecting, I think, to be challenged in the air, which he wasn't. There's Willie Miller. Excellent control again from Collins. Over the top it goes for Faulkner, trying to get that beyond the Hibs back four. Willie Miller breaks. Now he's out of position. Darren Jackson has stayed back in that right back position. He's being bypassed now by Collins. Clearance by Mitchell. The loose ball's going to men wearing Celtic colours. This is Rudy Vata. O'Neill forced to play the ball long again, seeking out the head of Faulkner, who did very well indeed there to get in front of Stephen Tweed. Well, Celtic taking a grip of the match early on once again. All the noise coming from Celtic supporters. That's Mitchell, and now McGinley. This is Miller. Space on the right for Harper. Now Hibs sending players forward very swiftly indeed to support this attack. One of them is Jackson. Trying to link there with McGraw. John Collins did well for Celtic defensively. It's McKinley's clearance. Strong play by Millen. Quite a number of high balls being played forward by Celtic. They're trying to get in behind the Hibs back four. Use Walker and Faulkner. So an early indication of Celtic's dominance. 57% possession so far. Here's McStay with time again to set something up for Celtic. Patiently waits to see where the damage can be done. Retains possession with O'Neill. Slice that pass intended for Faulkner again in the air. Good play by O'Neill. This is McGinley. Tackle came from Boyd.
I think the pattern is emerging quite early on that obviously Alec Miller's done his homework. He's stopping the Celtic fullbacks getting the ball. It's only McStay. When McStay and Collins get the ball in midfield, they haven't got that outlet that they had in the first half with their fullbacks.
Well, Mark McGraw is very quick, but not quick enough for that opportunity. Set up by Keith Wright's run. Grant's header. Here's McLaughlin. Bringing on Tweed. That's good play by Tweed. Standing up, forcing him to turn back. That's Kevin Harper's header. Still Celtic maintain the pressure. Faulkner with a good header across. That was McLaughlin. Darren Jackson tidying up now for Hibs. Finding it very difficult to get out of their own half at this stage in the match. And Willie Miller launching that into the stand. Well, all the play really has been leaning towards Jim Leighton and the Hibs goal there. 50% in the middle of the field, but a lot of pressure on Leighton's penalty box. Faulkner being marked by Stephen Tweed inside the penalty box as Tosh McKinley takes this throw for Celtic. Marking very tight indeed. Tom Boyd in his own at the back. Well, he started his career, Boyd, with Motherwell as a central defender. And then became an international fullback in Motherwell colours. Showing his versatility right across the back four. He's also played very effectively wide on the left-hand side of midfield. Challenge for O'Neill from right. Celtic tidying up again very effectively at the back. Millen did well, so did Miller. O'Neill was held there. The free kick's been given. Peter Grant living dangerously. Already been involved in one, a very heavy challenge.
It's Michael O'Neill there. Just you see the arm from Peter Grant there. Just pulled him back and then tried to make out that it wasn't any contact. The referee was obviously too smart for that.
Bit of damage inflicted on Andy Millen. That's why the referee's held up play. A cut on the knee there. So the referee will want the blood to be removed. Alec Miller and Jockey Scott there. The signals for the players. Not entirely happy with this opening 20 minutes. That's Andy Millen's left leg. Concerned and no doubt at all about the fact that his side have started this second match totally dominating, but not carving out clear chances, Terry, again.
Well, they've had the one clear chance from Andy Walker. Good play by Brian McLaughlin. Put Andy Walker through, and Tommy Burns obviously once again feel disappointed that a good build-up play was wasted once again by Andy Walker. So he'll be just a bit disappointed.
Jackson's free kick. That's Mitchell. Faced by Paul McStay. Good well to look at the cross. Well, one inside the area there by Vata. Tackling is tough. That's Grant. McLaughlin. Great control on the run. Caught down there by Jackson. He'll be booked for that. The referee going instantly for the yellow card as soon as Darren Jackson made contact with McLaughlin, protesting that he went for the ball, but this could be arguable.
Yes, Darren Jackson being for pace there, by McLaughlin, and really just leaves his leg there in the effort to bring the player down and hope he doesn't get a booking. The referee booked him. That is what we were saying before. The midfield is breaking on the Hibs midfield, and Alan Miller won't be happy with that.
Boyd playing against the right hand of McGinley. The referee sees that as deliberate, so the free kick goes to Celtic. Approaching the midway point in a tense first half. Referee not happy with the positioning of the free kick. Sorts that out now. Again, Willie Faulkner the target. Faulkner the target for so many long passes from Celtic in the opening stages, Terry.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jock, he's won virtually about 85% of the balls in the air that any contest between him and Stephen Tweed, so he's proving more than able deputy for Pierre Van Hooydonk.
There's Jackson. Miller playing it long. McGraw goes in behind. Good defending by Boyd. Here's Keith Wright. Well, Pat McGinley had broken from midfield to support the attack, but had no chance of reaching that. Here's Jackson again, right ahead. Determination shown there by Willie Miller. The tackle. Space for Andy Walker. This is McStay breaking from midfield. Shooting chance perhaps for Paul McStay. Excellent goalkeeping by Leighton. 6-7 yards out of his goal to narrow the angle.
Yeah, it's great play by Celtic. Paul Mistake jinking inside onto his left foot there. One thing on his mind, he's going to crash the shot. He does, but Jim Leighton there. You see Jim Leighton out about 7 or 8 yards outside his goal. Narrowed the angle very well. Good sidestep by Paul McStay on his left foot. Keeps it down, keeps it on target. Jim Leighton's there once more.
Another injury problem here. Hold up there for treatment required to Pat McGinley.
I think that incident came with the tackle between Pat McGinley and I think it was Paul McStay or Willie Miller. It certainly came across and smashed into all two of them, and obviously Pat McGinley felt the effects of the challenge from his own players.
Just recovered. Interesting to see the cup finalist Airdrie going a goal behind at Clydebank there in a very important first division match. Airdrie still hoping for promotion.
Wonder if Airdrie is still sober after Saturday's great result.
Kevin Harper's header. Here's Wright, screening it well. McGraw looking there for Mike O'Neill. Barker has settled very quickly into this Celtic defensive right back. Offward again. Tweed winning that particular battle. McGraw to Jackson. Over it there for Harper. Well, Hibs certainly deserve credit for being so adventurous with this team selection. Kevin Harper, 19-year-old, an actual striker, but operating wide on the right-hand side of midfield. This is Walker, penalised for handball. Oh, he doesn't agree, I think. The former Bolton Wanderers striker. Tweed up for the attack. The free kick though taken short. Here's Jackson. Now McGinley. Harper. Miller was outside him. It's a good pass. And an excellent cross. A chance for Tweed. Well, perhaps as good a chance as Hibs have had in the two matches so far.
Yes, the best chance of the match so far, the best chance of the two matches, really. A lovely ball to the far post. Stephen Tweed just comes in. Brian O'Neill there, guilty of ball watching, and not a good contact by the big man. Just caught it on the instep. Here it comes again once more, over the top of everybody. There's a big man, the far post. Comes off his shin. Anywhere on target, I think Pat Bonner was beaten.
A real let-off that for Celtic. And a reminder there for Brian O'Neill. McKinley's taken out of the play. Harper breaks. Good recovery by Grant. Such an effective midfield tackler. Pulling Brian McLaughlin across to Pat McGinley. Trying to maintain his concentration. There's O'Neill. Well, the young centre-back, rated so highly by Tommy Barnes, is quite convinced that his future is as a centre-back. He started his career as a midfield player, and Lou McCarry, when he used him as a striker. Good young centre-half, Terry.
Yes, very comfortable on the ball. He's very confident, very mature. Just on that one occasion when the ball, he's looking wide when the ball coming over, doesn't think the ball's going to reach his man. Takes his eye off it for a moment. His man gets in front of him, and a good chance then goes begging for Hibs.
John Collins, well tackled by Miller. Very well timed indeed. Tackle from the back will not be allowed by referee Robotham. Willie Faulkner with the culprit. The Hibs supporters wonder why no yellow card's been produced here.
Well, I can't believe this isn't the result of a yellow card. Whether he plays the ball, I'm not too sure he plays the ball. Definitely plays the man. Then Mr. Robotham went for his hip pocket, went to pull out the yellow card, decided to keep it in there.
Jackson to Miller. Hibs appear to be settling now, improving. O'Neill well beaten that time by O'Neill. It's Walker. McLaughlin. Interception made by Harper. A very good backtracking job there for Hibs, but he's in trouble now. Collins. Walker's way up. Here's McLaughlin again. That was very well timed by Mitchell. Barta pushing forward from the right back position. Walker. Barta. Great play from Celtic.
Great ball in by Varta here. Good layoff. Once again, the back heel from Celtic. A good crisp left foot shot. Jim Later there, no trouble picking it up on the near post. Lovely little back heel there. Good first time shot. Good first time save once more.
Wright getting up there with Boyd. There's Barta again. Fouled by Wright. Tackle from the rear. Celtic in a hurry. Free kick taken very quickly by McStay. The pace is dropped from the frantic start. And certainly seeing some more passing going on here. There was a foul by Miller in behind John Collins. The Hibs supporters howling, showing their anguish there. Across it comes to Barta. There's Collins. Now Walker, which they made a run. McLaughlin calling for the ball on this near side. Wants to attack Graham Mitchell. Drop a ball in. Punched away by Leighton. An excellent decision taken there by Jim Leighton. He was in trouble potentially with that angled ball. Like it comes to Boyd as Celtic patiently starts again. McLaughlin once more. Looking at Collins on the far side. Miller, and shooting that doesn't come inside. It's a throw though to Celtic. And the referee has heard enough of Willie Miller there. It's a booking for dissent. Couldn't keep his mouth shut. Made his first protest, which the referee allowed him, and then maintained that. So the referee keeping a firm grip in the proceedings. Collins, back here with Paul McStay, great ball in for Faulkner. That's Faulkner! Brilliant play from Celtic. Willie Faulkner puts them ahead. superb play from Celtic. Willie Faulkner getting his 6th goal of the season and justifying his inclusion to replace Pierre Van Hooydonk. It really was a magnificent goal, superbly built up from the edge of the penalty box.
Lovely ball to once more to Andy Walker. Paul McStay picks the ball up now. He's looking for the running side. There it is by Willie Faulkner. Left foot shot through the legs of Stephen Tweed, giving Jim Leighton no chance whatsoever. Well held up by Andy. Here we are. Once more. Lovely little ball inside. Crisp left foot shot. An early shot there through Stephen Tweed's legs. Jim Leighton no chance.
That really was vintage play from Celtic. Their international players, Collins, McStay, Walker, all involved. That's a great tackle by Collins. McKinley breaks on the left, chased by Harper. The offside flag has gone up against Faulkner. He's had a very good opening half hour, the Celtic striker.
He has, and tremendous to see him come into the side at the expense of Pierre Van Hooydonk's injury, though. But he's come in, grabbed the opportunity with both hands. He's looked lively. He's been very good in the air, flicking balls on. He's been an excellent front runner for Celtic, and the one chance he's had is put in the back of the net.
There's Darren Jackson. Back with McGinley. He's put under pressure instantly by Brian McLaughlin, who's clearly been told to match him whenever Hibs go forward. A flash off the ball, Grant and Jackson. Jackson goes down, clutching his face as Hibs go forward. Corner kick to Hibs. Darren Jackson on the halfway line, on the ground. Peter Grant was involved there. The referee looking across the linesman for some assistance, I think. The referee, John Rowbottom, not authorising the arrival of Stuart Colley, the Hibs physio. There's blood coming from Jackson's nose, and the referee saw nothing there, and there was no assistance offered by the linesman. Peter Grant, closest player to Jackson. So the corner kick will be taken. Well, Jackson gets some treatment at the touchline. Pat Bonner's punch out. Here's Andy Walker. Jackson's come back in the field. He was waved on by the referee. The Celtic supporters not at all happy about that, but he was certainly waved on. That's Tweed. Keith Wright challenging against O'Neill. Jackson again. McLaughlin has now switched to the Celtic left. Here's Collins. Strong play by Collins. Walker getting off to the left. It's a very good spell this from Celtic. Delightful play from McLaughlin, making for the byline. He's very well tackled by Miller. Celtic now though, one goal up and going for the kill. Not too many corner kicks in the match so far. Very short. Josh McKinley. Taking it back beyond Kevin Harper. Very important phase in the game as Celtic maintain this kind of attacking play and snatch a second before half-time. Hibs will really be in trouble. Good tackle again by O'Neill. That's Willie Miller. Long chase for Keith Wright. And at the back is Boyd. Calmly return to the international defender. That's a fine pass. Here's Faulkner. Walker's in the middle. Closed down rapidly though by Andy Millen. Hard pressed tonight, Millen. Doing some fine attacking play from Celtic. Celtic both arriving late in the box for this corner. Only one inside the 6-yard box. That's Andy Walker. Back to McKinley. Tweed's header. Harper towards O'Neill. This is McGinley. And now Millen. Michael O'Neill hasn't been seen too much in possession in the match so far for Hibs. We won't be happy with that. Jackson. Miller to Harper. That's great play by Harper. Not quite enough space though on the flank. Clearly thinks it should have been a throw to Hibs. Boyd very calm at the back for Celtic. Jackson again. And some help here from McGraw. That's towards Keith Wright. The only play in the box though for Hibs was Wright. Michael O'Neill arrived very late on the scene. Tough task for Keith Wright at the moment, playing through the middle on his own virtually. Mark McGraw having to do some doubling back to work in midfield. Skidding off Graham Mitchell's head. Could give it in. Very combative centre-half. All the Celtic supporters very happy indeed at this stage of the match. They've seen some excellent football and a splendid goal from Willie Faulkner. McGraw robbed instantly there by Boyd. O'Neill to McGraw. He's very quick. Supported by O'Neill. Grant with a cross. Well-timed tackle that by Grant.
It's the first time I think Michael O'Neill's really had a good run at the Celtic defence. Alec Miller will be looking for him to get hold of the ball a lot more and try and weave his magic and try and get Hibs back into the game.
A splendid start for the season, Michael O'Neill. A dozen goals before the end of the year. Good defending by Boyd. A great way off that by Faulkner, and McLaughlin trying to dig on Tweed in the run. Excellent defending again, this time by McKinley. By Collins. Walker breaks wide on the left. Faulkner remains through the middle. Boyd has Barta clear on the right. It's been a very impressive Celtic performance in this first half. Walker's header behind Walker. That's good play by Tweed. Now is Harper over on the far side. It's a turn back though. Faulkner wins it. Here's McKinley. Tweed on his own there inside the box defending for Hibs. Jackson. Great play by Faulkner. Well, he's enjoying himself all right tonight. Very strong on the left side, Willie Faulkner.
He's really on form tonight, especially with that goal. Has really fired him up here. Just a left foot volley, just inches over the bar, but great control. Here, pulls it down on a sixpence, pivots, and just flashes it over the bar. But that would have worried Jim Leighton.
Well, attempts on goal from Celtic, 62. It's impressive. And also the accuracy from Celtic. Very good indeed. So here's Willie Miller. Right head flick requires support from midfield. It came late from McGinley. Mitchell to Jackson. McGinley well challenged by Barta. That's a great ball from Walker. All these little intricate passes and flicks from midfield working for Celtic at the moment. This is John Collins. O'Neill to Boyd. Grant drops off in central midfield. Available again. Well, Celtic simply keeping the ball at this stage, probing for the opening. Another from Tweed goes over the top. McLaughlin, who was racing in there. Here's Michael O'Neill. Right, keeping the ball by Boyd. Tommy Burns believing that Tom Boyd can become a top centre back again. spent so many seasons at fullback. There was a play from Harper, over carrying the ball though, robbed by Grant. This is McKinley. And now McStay. This is Walker, a shooting chance on. Well, again, the inventive play from midfield coming from Paul McStay.
Yeah, once again, Paul McStay gets on the ball. A lovely little ball inside. He loves those little reverse passes, but Andy Walker, unfortunately, doesn't like those little left-foot shots across the face of the goal. But a lot of people would have said maybe that was a cross, but I think that was a shot.
Very impressive first-half performance from Paul McStay. He's had his critics this season. He was even dropped for a couple of games, but outstanding tonight for Celtic. Late challenge by Collins and Pat McGinley.
I think it's the whole of the Celtic midfield really has been very impressive. We see that John Collins not really renowned for his aerial threat, but he's putting his weight in there trying to get on the end of challenges as well.
There's only require him to become much more involved in the play than he has been. Space for McLaughlin again. Just made it, but O'Neill was back swiftly. White's head up. McGinley did well to ease himself away from Collins. This is Jackson. Millen pushing forward. McGraw waiting. O'Neill sliding into the tackle. Again the long ball. Aiming for Faulkner. They're going to touch again. A misunderstanding there between Tweed and Millen. Hibs could so easily have been punished there by Andy Walker. I don't think even he could believe that. What an incredible let-off that was for Hibs. Could indeed have been curtains for them just before half-time. Here's Michael O'Neill coming forward. McGinley putting pressure here on Boyd. Carefully worked there by Boyd for the goal kick. Well, what a let-off that was for Hibs.
It's a good flick on by Willie Faulkner, and it really was after you. And Stephen Tweed did make a good recovery, but had Andy Walker scored that first goal, I think, for Celtic, and had that confidence, and obviously that penalty miss, he's probably still thinking about that. Had he had the confidence that Willie Faulkner's got, I think that could have been 2-0.
Well, Celtic, the draw specialist throughout this season, 17 league draws. They found goals very hard to come by. They have produced one gem so far in this match, and they've threatened frequently. There goes McLaughlin. That's for Walker. And Graham Mitchell did just enough there. Good first-time effort there for Faulkner. Well, he specialised in spectacular goals, and that certainly wasn't far away.
Good little ball inside once again. He comes inside. Love it at a reverse pass. These reverse passes have been a feature. Good tackle by Graham Mitchell there. Stephen Tweed doesn't quite clear the danger. Willie Faulkner's first-time shot just over the bar.
Well, I think the half-time whistle will come as some kind of blessed relief for Hibs. Only one goal down, but it could so easily have been 2 or 3. Millen, a little bit of trouble there. Out it comes to Collins. Delightful finish from Collins. Measured into the corner. The Celtic supporters celebrate in style. That was genuine class.
Once again from Stephen Tweed, the ball falls to Collins. He's deadly with that left foot from there. As we've seen him do with free kicks on numerous occasions, bends the ball round. There's a quick look, Jim Leighton, no earthly chance there for that one. 2-0, good play. Stephen Tweed, a good tackle. Collins steadies himself, has a look, bends it round Jim Leighton. Inches one up, I would say about a foot to spare within that post. Superb artistry there from John Collins.
Well, a scoreline there which Celtic certainly merit on the balance of play. Well, really so impressive, this first half performance from Celtic, and Hibs have a long way back if they're to stay in this Tennant Scottish Cup. We've had a minute and a half almost of stoppage time at the end of the first half. He's right with the layoff. That's McGraw. Now O'Neill. Barclay's cross. Josh McKinley's there for Celtic. That's Willie Miller. Keith White heading it on. Nothing running kindly for Hibs in front of goal here. A chase for Andy Millen. Dumped away by Leighton. Kept and played very well by Jackson. Well, that half-time whistle coming rather later than Hibs wanted, I'm sure. And for Alec Miller, I think he would have been anxious to get his players in at half-time. Only one goal down and trying to sort things out. Now he has other problems. There's McGinley. Chance on there, now Mitchell. And suddenly Celtic look ragged in defence. A little bit of complacency perhaps creeping in. So the half-time whistle goes and the Celtic supporters greet what has been an outstanding performance. Willie Faulkner getting that incredible opening goal. Brilliant play involving McStay, Collins and Walker, and John Collins produced that absolute classic just before half-time to put Celtic 2 ahead. It's a lead which on the balance of play they richly deserve. They played extremely well and Hibs a long way back. It's half-time. Hibs 0, Celtic 2.
Box once more. Let's get back to our commentary team. Terry Butcher and first Jock Brown.
Thank you, Paul. And there's the greeting for the Celtic players and their supporters who are enthralled by that marvellous first half performance. And it's quite remarkable to think that throughout this season Celtic have never managed to score more than 2 goals against Premier Division oppositions. It's been a remarkable season in that respect. So they have the chance here tonight. They've only scored 3 once. That was against Meadowbank in the Tennis Scottish Cup. But they will be looking for more, I'm sure, early in this second half. So referee Rowbottom is satisfied. The Celtic start to the second half with, not surprisingly, no change made to their lineup in that spell. They have Phil O'Donnell, a £1.7 million midfield player, on the bench along with young Simon Donnelly. But it will be more interesting, I think, to see just what Hibs have done tactically at half-time. Mountain decline they have, and there were precious few signs in that first half that they could trouble Celtic, apart from that golden opportunity missed by Stephen Tweed midway through the first half. Slipped there by Willie Faulkner, allowing Millen to find Miller. That's McKinley lofting it in. Stephen Tweed kept his eye on the ball. Here's McStay playing full of enthusiasm, energy in midfield, making for the gap. Tackled by McGinley at the expense of a corner kick.
Once again, Paul McStay showing his resurgence of form. Really positive run into the box. Tries to nutmeg Pat McGinley in the end, but Pat McGinley's quite happy to concede the corner. Good positive run by the Celtic captain.
And this is Celtic's 5th match in the Tennis Scottish Cup this season. They're still to lose a goal. Good play by O'Neill. Chance on here for Paul McStay, angling that pass, aiming I think for Collins. John Leighton losing his bearings I think for a split second, recovering swiftly. Certainly no chance with either Hibs goal, either Celtic goal rather. Here's McKinley. Another excellent layoff from Walker. Collins coming inside. Good angled pass for Willie Faulkner. This Walker with a shot again. Collins goes in. And Hibs scrambling the ball away in the end, but they're under severe pressure. Once again, John Collins' player is fouled.
Good play by Willie Faulkner into the box. A good hard low cross. Good tackle in the box there by Stephen Tweed, and the ball now breaks out. John Collins, I think he complained a little bit later on that the challenge was a little bit high.
So the referee intervening there. Andy Millen was the player who upset John Collins, showing his studs in that tackle. So Millen makes his point. The referee says he will be the judge of foul tackles. exchange there. There was no infringement spotted by the referee. There's Andy Millen now with the throw. Clear push by Wright. Well, Terry, any suggestions that Hibs have changed things tactically in the second half?
Well, it doesn't look as though they have changed anything really. I think they just, I think Alec Miller probably give it 5 or 10 minutes and see what develops if they can get a break. Obviously, he'll be looking for a goal within those 5 or 10 minutes. But if that doesn't happen, look for probably Kevin Harper to use his pace more up front.
Great play again from Celtic in the build-up. Walker and Collins together. Faulkner attempting the return pass into the path of Andy Walker. We're seeing some exhibition stuff now from Celtic. Led by O'Neill. Good pass from Mitchell. This is O'Neill. Well, little doubt about that call. Paul McStay, a little bit overzealous in the challenge there.
Paul McStay, good play by Michael Lynn on the left-hand side. Just jinking there, just tempting Paul McStay, and Paul McStay there takes the chance and fouls the Hibs play.
So a set piece for Hibs here. Michael O'Neill flights it in. Crowded penalty area. Mitchell was there. The acrobatic effort came from Pat McGinley.
There's about 5 Hibs players there, the ball into the box. Good challenge by Graham Mitchell. The ball pops to Pat McGinley and didn't really know what he was trying to do there. Got a little layoff to Kevin Harper, who's in a better position, might have helped.
Well, the lingering hope for Alec Miller, the Hibs manager, must be that Hibs can snatch a goal and change the whole complexion of the match. Because so far, Celtic dominate and they're playing with a lot of confidence. Collins well tackled by Willie Miller. And McGinley. Walker out again there with a challenge made by Posh McKinley. Boyd's given that away. Careless one. Michael O'Neill against Rudy Barta. Well, Barta really has settled very quickly into this Celtic defence.
He's done a good job on Michael O'Neill on that right-hand side. He's the outlet for Celtic whenever they win possession, but he's also stopped Michael O'Neill very impressively in the first half.
Mark McGraw. McStay holding off McGraw, showing his strength and determination as well as his skill. And the free kick's been given in the end. Well, there's no doubting McStay's commitment to this task tonight.
This is great upper body strength by Paul McStay. Gets his shoulders and arms in there. He's got the ball now, looks up for the pass. In comes Michael O'Neill. Tries to play 1-2. Michael O'Neill blocks him and eventually gives away the foul. But it's endemic really that the Celtic captain stamping his authority on this match right from the word go.
Another away by Tweed. That's McGinley. A bit of blow too to Hibs. The way the game is going tonight. They had forced to go in the cup. Before that, effort from Willie Faulkner in the first half. Miller to right. A clumsy touch that. The linking up play from the Hibs strikers, not the same quality as that of Faulkner and Walker for Celtic. Taking the lead against Tottenham, leaving the relegation worry somewhat if they can hold on to that. Here's McLaughlin, and now Barta. McLaughlin was caught late there by O'Neill. Apology offered by Michael O'Neill instantly, just late there I think, beaten by the sharpness of McLaughlin.
Yes, he's very, very sharp, Brian McLaughlin. Little toe poke there, and Michael O'Neill, not a dangerous or malicious tackle, really, just a bit of a clumsy one.
Too high for Faulkner and for Stephen Tweed. Well, it's a splendid match, Faulkner up front for Celtic. brought down by McKinley. Nothing malicious in that either, I don't think.
Good bit of skill by Darren Jackson, just wrong foot touch McKinley. Tosh McKinley puts his foot down and pulls it away, but I think Darren Jackson does a good job of hurdling his left leg.
Mitchell to Jackson. Millen forces a long, hopeful ball downfield, won easily by Boyd, who was rugby tackled in the end by Stephen Tweed, who stayed forward there.
Great jump by Tommy Boyd there. Saw the big man coming in, got his head to the ball, pushed it away, and Stephen Tweed there giving away the foul on the edge of Celtic's box.
Well, it's difficult to think of a Celtic player who has been in any way below par so far tonight. Headed away by Tweed. Tackle thumbled by Vata. Two-footed tackle by Vata. Free kick to Hibs. Good running by McGinley. Picked out well by Michael O'Neill. Here's Paul McStay again. The throw goes to Hibs. Tottenham have equalised at White Hart Lane. Willie Miller. McGraw goes to the right. That's towards Harper. Good header by Harper. And the little striker getting up very well to that. He troubled the Celtic defence all right.
It's a great ball by Willie Miller, good reverse ball, and Kevin Harper, probably the smallest man on the pitch, loops a header. Had that been on target, I think Pat Bonner would have been beaten. He was here from behind the goal. You just see that. About a couple of feet wide of Pat Bonner's left-hand post.
Tommy Boyd lifting his right arm there after the header went past the post. They say that he knew that all the time. That's Mullen's header. Good play by Brian O'Neill against Keith Wright. Well, Hibs trying as hard as they can to influence the game. And there's going to be a change made shortly by Hibs. Gareth Evans is preparing for action down below us. So Hibs certainly have to gamble here, I think. Good play by O'Neill, running straight into Grant. That was Mitchell. Barter's given that away to Keith Wright. This is McGraw. Harper's gone through the middle beside Wright at the moment. McGraw in right midfield. Well, one of that might influence who's coming off. Well, in view of the change made recently by Hibs to push Harper to striker beside Keith Wright, Mark McGraw might be the player at risk, I think, for Hibs. And he is indeed the man coming off. And Peter Grant goes off for Celtic. Phil O'Donnell replaces him. Grant has played very well indeed. O'Donnell is welcomed onto the field though by the Celtic supporters, and Gareth Evans has replaced Mark McGraw. Harper helps it on. That's McKinley's clearance. Headed on by Tweed. Pat McGinley. There's Darren Jackson. Now Miller. Well tackled by Collins. Well, Hibs certainly deserve credit for the way in which they've tried to come back into the match. Darren Jackson gets that abuse from the Celtic supporters every time he's involved. Clearance by McKinley again. An odd sign here that Celtic have lost their urgency and momentum a little. That's Evans. The ball straight away for Hibs. Across it comes to O'Neill. That's well struck. And superbly saved by Bonner. What a difference that might have made to the run of the game.
Yes, it was a great play by Gareth Evans on the edge of the box there. He just won the tackle. Here he comes at Gareth Evans. Just lays the ball inside. Michael O'Neill, one thought in mind. smashing left foot shot, and you look at Pat Bonner there. Doesn't only just gets his hands to it, but manages to hold it. A great save by the Irish goalkeeper.
Well, that might break Hibs' hearts. Michael O'Neill had every reason to think that might have been good enough for a goal until Bonner showed his ability. Well, the substitutions have some significance, I think, here. Bolton being held by Willie Miller. So Phil O'Donnell as the player who has replaced Peter Grant in the Celtic midfield. So possession again with Collins. And Tweed again making the vital interception as Bolton try that volley inside the area. This is McStay. That time with the header clear. Still, Celtic reasserting themselves. Gareth Evans is the player who's replaced Mark McGraw, playing wide on the right-hand side of midfield now for Hibs. Here's McKinley. He's still in play. Willie Miller denying the chance to get the cross in, but he has won a corner kick for Celtic. Once again, Celtic leaving only one man inside the 6-yard box. The rest all hovering around the edge of the area. Tosh McKinley flights it in. Pat McGinley's clearance. Retrieves for Celtic. One more goal, I think, would be the aim for Celtic. Would surely kill the tie. But at the other end, if Hibs could do something, this game could change dramatically. Well, that was intentional. It was brilliant play by McGinley. Here's Michael O'Neill. Very positive going to the area. Goes down very rapidly indeed, though. Very good tackle made there by Phil O'Donnell, backtracking rapidly for Celtic. Past the hour mark now. Celtic still very much in command with this 2-goal cushion. Having to defend this corner kick. Lots of movement from Hibs players. Beaten by O'Neill. This is Milne. Michael O'Neill on the far side. That was a good pass. Jackson has Milne available again. Defrag getting up well. That's Graham Mitchell. With a chance on there for Evans. Well, Celtic taking some time to cope with that Hibs attack.
Yes, it was a good ball to the far post. I think Keith Wright gets up here, heads the ball back across. And it's down to Graham Mitchell, gets his head in first. And Gareth Evans with the left foot shot. It's a pity that chance fell to Gareth Evans. Here's the header back across. Here goes Graham Mitchell now. That chance falls there on his left foot. It's a pity that he's only just come on. Had that fallen to probably Keith Wright or Darren Jackson or somebody who'd been on the pitch from the start, that could have been in the back of Celtic's net.
First contest between these two clubs this season ended in a 2-0 win to Celtic. Then it was a 1-1 draw Easter Road, a 2-2 draw at Hampden, Celtic's temporary home, and then a 0-0 draw on Friday evening. So Hibs looking for their first win against Celtic this season, and time is running out rapidly. Here's Bolton. McKinley to Collins. McLaughlin trying the return pass, but Hibs alive to that. Here's Jackson. He's right. O'Neill, Harper. Shot was blocked well. The Celtic defence spotting the injury early enough as Harper found some space at the edge of the area. Mitchell. He's come sprinting across from left back to offer himself to receive the throw. He's now gone back. Here's Millen. Keith Wright's header looking for McGinley. Now Wright. Hibs are back in the match. The pressure is paid off. And now this cup tie has come alive again.
Good ball in by Andy Millen to the far post. Keith Wright gets up, heads it back across. Now Pat McGinley goes in with Pat Bonner. The ball falls nicely. And it's Keith Wright to put Hibs back into the match. You see Keith Wright pulling away in the far post. Heads the ball back across. Pat McGinley might have been offside, not too sure, but as it happens, the ball falls kindly for Keith Wright to make it 2-1.
Keith Wright's 9th goal of the season, and it's a new cup tie now. Keith Wright has caused a few problems in the last few minutes, coming in from the left for cross balls. It really was a splendid bit of play here by Andy Millen initially, who stepped inside. Then he picked out Keith Wright. The header down, allowing McGinley to attack the ball. Pat Bonner was in trouble. A simple pass in the end. And the first goal Celtic have lost in the Tennant Scottish Cup this season. In the 5th match. Well, hope now for the Hibs bench. Tommy Barnes a lot more anxious now, I suspect. Graham Mitchell pumps in the free kick. Well won by Brian O'Neill. And the throw goes to Celtic. Oh, you think the way Celtic have played tonight, so there's the much more even second half. They deserve great credit for coming forward again. Here's Willie Miller. Now McGinley, who was so far forward there from midfield, so effective in that attacking midfield role, McGinley. That's for Keith Wright again. Beaten this time by Brian O'Neill. Well, Celtic players have suffered 1 or 2 crises of confidence this season. Wasted by Jackson. But I wonder, Terry, if they could be badly rocked by that goal.
I think they will be badly rocked. They're giving the ball away in a dangerous area there, John Collins. And you look at Darren Jackson. Could he have slipped Keith Wright inside? I'm not too sure. But as it was, he did really nothing there. Alan Miller will be disappointed, but it just shows that Hibs are pressing Celtic now back into their own half. And that confidence that Celtic had from that 2 goals in the first half obviously has gone now. And Hibs are much more the team in the ascendancy.
Head flick on from Faulkner. That's Willie Miller. And that, of course, has given new energy to the Hibs' legs. So, the attempts at goal evening up rapidly now. Remember, Celtic was so far ahead in the first half. The accuracy again, similar. And Hibs back in this match with a real chance of making the final. Way off there from Walker. This is Faulkner. Now McStay. Collins on the left. There's Andy Walker down for McKinley. That's great play again. And Graham Mitchell defending superbly once more for Hibs inside the box. Evans wanted too long on the ball there. John Collins closed him down rapidly.
I said before about the quality of balls into the box. That's a great ball from Tosh McKinley. Graham Mitchell there blocks one chance and then blocks another. There's a good quality ball in there from Tosh McKinley.
That's Walker. Now Collins. Well, Hibs certainly wanted him on his right foot, which is not quite so good. McKinley wrestling there with Evans. That's a free kick to Celtic. Showing his commitment to the cause, coming on a substitute. He's being spoken to by referee Rowbottom.
Just see Gareth Evans there, just brilliantly falling down and clipping the heels of Tosh McKinley. The referee quite right, having a word with him, having a word with the Hibs player about possible cause of dissent. But Hibs have got a problem now. This Tosh McKinley could whip a good ball into the box.
7 years at Worcester Road. Evans, running the club from Rotherham United. This is McKinley now with a free kick. Away easily by McGinley. A wasted opportunity that for Celtic, and they really want to cash in and want as quickly as they can, I think, to re-establish their authority in this match. Otherwise, they could have a tough closing spell. Handball there against Willie Miller. It would be better to keep his mouth shut, having been hooked already in the match.
He didn't quite get there, I don't think, Willie Miller. Just gets his arm up there, puts his head down, and the ball catches his left forearm.
So Collins now with the free kick. Far post ball, and the tall figure of Tweed commands again at the back. As Collins robbed this time by McGinley. Here's O'Neill on his own for the moment, faced by Boyd. Certainly won't be able to outrun him, that's for sure. Good defending by Boyd. Mitchell. Harper coming short, screening the ball well. Mitchell to Jackson. Here's Miller. And now Evans. Is it promising for Hibs? Brad McGinley going up there. There goes Rudy Vata. Harper. Breaks kindly from Miller. There's Jackson. There's Keith Wright. Superbly tackled there by Rudy Vata. Now the break is on for Celtic with McLaughlin. On the far side is Walker. To the gap goes Phil O'Donnell. Matched by Pat McGinley. And effectively replaced at Celtic. O'Donnell again. Back here with Vata. Faulkner attacks the ball. Well, it's a good save by Leighton. So powerful, Willie Faulkner. He's clashed there with Andy Millen. He almost turned that into a goal-scoring opportunity. Put long by Millen. Willie Miller's header. Here's Millen. Stretch there, able to get to that. Barker to McStay, that's for Brian McLaughlin. In goes Mitchell. Celtic retaining possession on the far side with Rudy Vata. Right robbed there in the midfield by Paul McStay. The advantage will apply there. The referee would have given a free kick, I'm sure. Indicating just that to Celtic. Collins picks out McKinley on the left. Minus .5 losing semi-final teams. Josh McKinley. Now the chance of appearing his first final. McLaughlin to McKinley. It's a very good swinging cross again. Collins beating the ball by Millen. Jackson takes the ball for a run. The usual reception from the Celtic supporters. He's right, well challenged by O'Neill. This is Collins. Now McStay. Great running by Walker, he's onside, this could tie it up. Terrific build-up play once again from Celtic. Andy Walker's run opening up the Hibs defence to receive the pass from Paul McStay.
Lovely ball inside. Andy Walker springing the offside track there, does everything right, keeps it down. Whether Jim Leighton gets a touch on that, I'm not too sure. Lovely ball inside, the perfect angle to watch this shot now. Does Jim Leighton get a touch? Doesn't get a touch, but he puts it about 2 or 3 for 1. Andy Walker could have had a hat-trick tonight quite comfortably.
Still Celtic come forward. This is Willie Faulkner trying to find Walker inside. On the way to the corner by Andy Millen. Yes, indeed, Andy Walker could easily have had a hat-trick so far. Willie Faulkner might have had one too. Celtic, after stuttering a little after that goal from Keith Wright back in command again, winning the corner kick out handsomely. That's won by Faulkner. First snatching at that. Good play by Evans. Testing the pace there of Ryan O'Neill. Jackson. Caught by a high challenge there from John Collins. So free kick it is to Hibs. Away by Boyd. A miscued header by Millen, coming to no harm here. It's Mitchell and Jackson. Look at the hustling play from midfield though from Celtic, keeping Hibs pinned back. Another good challenge by Boyd. Next day to McKinley. Jim Leighton. Here's O'Neill. Enough space in the middle of the field for him to win possession cleanly. This is Collins. And Collins putting that little sequence of performances against Hibs in terms of scoring goals. Scored in the 3 league matches. Didn't obviously make it on Friday night, but he scored again in the semi-final against them. McLaughlin goes inside. He was impeded on the way by Pat McGinley. Again, there's Wards with him. Thinks he made something out of nothing there.
This is clever play by Brian McLaughlin. Jinks inside, and there's the arm from Pat McGinley, just holds him back. Pat McGinley probably just saying to Brian McLaughlin, you know, why did you stop? We probably could have gotten going there for a crack at goal. But dangerous position this for Celtic, and a chance for Collins once again.
Well, Collins very much the set-piece expert outside the area. Has the angle to try to bend one in past the wall. There's Collins now making a different angle, on the wide of the wall. Lloyd's giving that away carelessly. A long chase on here. Harper will lose out to McKinley. Stepping away from Miller, get some help from Evans though. The Hibs fullback. That's Tweed. That's good play in the big centre half. Charging forward now, looking for the cross ball. O'Neill making for the byline. Goes down very well indeed by Rudy Vata. The Hibs certainly don't consider this to be a lost cause. That's quite apparent. All the big men up. Mitchell joining Tweed inside the box. Put in low and allowing Celtic to counter. That's good play by Willie Miller. O'Neill again becoming much more involved in the second half, and that's helped the Hibs cause all right. Back corner, food and drink to him, nudged over there by Keith Wright. The referee making light of that also. So Ipswich Town struggling at the foot of the Premiership, losing by 1 goal to 0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Tweed to O'Neill. Well, he was hardly in the game in the first half, Michael O'Neill, but he's been involved so frequently in the second period. And these are tense closing stages for Celtic, a team suffering frequently from a crisis of confidence.
I think really all Hibs had to do now was, how they got the goal really, was just long balls into the box, and hopefully their strikers or their big men can get on the end of these balls and score.
That's Gareth Evans angling in a good ball. It wasn't far away from Keith Wright. Right, change of pace there from Evans. That's what took him away from McKinley. And Keith Wright is about a yard out of reach.
It's good play by Gareth Evans, just gets in there, good cross across the box, and there's only really Keith Wright in there. Kevin Harper hadn't made the ground up on the left-hand side, but once again, any ball into that box, any ball whether it be high or low into the Celtic penalty area can cause lots of problems.
Here's Tosh McKinley. Celtic supported in good voice again, sensing 10th Scottish Cup final appearance. Celtic are preparing Simon Donnelly to come into the action. And indications are that Andy Walker is being withdrawn. Walker's pass inside, that's McStead. Still McStead going all the way on the zone, and that was blocked by Mitchell. McLaughlin. It's Barta. Stay forward. Barta's kept it in play. Challenge there by O'Neill. He's gone for a corner kick. Michael O'Neill's not happy with Stratton Williams, the linesman. Well, he couldn't have had a better view, but it didn't please Michael O'Neill. Brian McLaughlin now the corner. Celtic looking for a clinching goal. One inside the area by Wright. Here's Harper. Here to strike the arm of Tosh McKinley. Yes, that's the view of the referee. He's given the free kick, and now Celtic will make the second substitution. Andy Walker being withdrawn once the referee spots the activity on the touchline. Now he has, so off comes Andy Walker, who might well score a hat-trick. He really has played extremely well without any luck in front of goal. And the replacement is Simon Donnelly, who hasn't appeared in the first team since Boxing Day when he came on as substitute. His last start in the first team was the Coca-Cola Cup final against Raith Rovers at the end of November. There's Mitchell. Dumped away unceremoniously by Tom Boyd, who wasn't happy at all with the marking. There's Donnelly, skillful striker. O'Neill holding off Barta. Could get that across the face of goal. So 10 minutes of the match left, and the referee has indicated a corner kick there. There was a deflection. Barta looks on disbelievingly. Aaron Jackson getting abuse there on the Celtic supporters after that first half clash with Ethan Grant. Well, Bonner likely to punch. It did appear as though he had a chance to catch that, but he didn't want to risk it. Well, Pat Bonner living a little bit dangerously there.
At the end of the day, the ball comes in, he's amongst the players, he decides, I'm not going to catch that, I'm going to punch it, and he gets height and distance. A good goalkeeping punch.
Just Donnelly. There's McLaughlin. Well, very elusive and skillful, but Aaron Jackson bided his time there to win possession for Hibs. Free kick's been given. McGinley having a little chat with McStay there.
It's a poor mistake, just gets the ball lost between his feet, and then Pat McGinley comes in and fouls him. That's really endemic, really, of Hibs' display tonight. They've been winning the ball and giving it away quite easily.
Caught for the target inside the area. Chance on the over the head. Oh, that'll settle it! Double goal for Celtic. Could scarcely have been simpler. But sure enough, Celtic are in the 10th Scottish Cup final.
I think it was Willie Miller that was supposed to be marking O'Donnell, but there's no stopping that header. Jim Leighton, no chance. A lovely flighted ball into the box here. Up goes O'Donnell. Connects perfectly to the top left-hand corner. Jim Leighton, no chance. Great angle here. Jim Leighton's left-hand side. Watch his left-hand side, straight towards the camera. 3-1. Thank you very much.
Well, Phil O'Donnell's had something of a scoring drought in recent times. Started with 3 quick goals in the Celtic team, then has taken the rest of the season. He scored just 1 more before tonight. Such a deadly header, and a man who has already scored in a cup final. Phil O'Donnell. He scored as a youngster for Motherwell in 1991. And Jim Leighton, not at all pleased with Willie Faulkner there for putting the ball behind the goal, and the referee has booked Faulkner. Jim Leighton irate there, still hasn't given up the cause. Lofted forward by Willie Miller, helped on by Wright. That's McGinley. Now O'Neill. Into the area it goes. Tweed couldn't get to that. Is this Harper? He seemed to be brought down there, but he went past Paul McStay outside the box. There was no free kick given. Perhaps the referee was unsighted. Collins forward. That's McLaughlin. Now McKinley. Here's Simon Donnelly. Tackle from Evans. Still Donnelly trying to get forward. Turned away there by Andy Millen. Thoroughly aggrieved there. He thought he should have been a free kick at the edge of the area.
I'm not too sure about this. He just dinks inside. Paul McStay just leaves his foot there. Well, I've seen those given, but then once again, Mr. Robotham was not far away from the action. Besides, that wasn't a free kick.
There's McKinley now. Brazilians, it's the outswinger. And a bit of pushing inside the area from Willie Faulkner. So free kick it is to Hibs. There's Darren Jackson now for Hibs. Free kick, which Hibs want to take quickly. And they're going to make their final substitution, Hibs, as soon as the play stops. Joe Tortolano is going to come on. Kevin Harper, the player to come off, I think. His last involvement in the play. The singing coming from the Celtic supporters. Here's Graham Mitchell. Now McGinley. Tucked away there by Faulkner, back defending. Now the change being attempted by Hibs. Still the referee hasn't spotted the 4th official down below us. Holding up the Miller 7 board. Tweed has stayed forward, beaten by O'Neill. Chase on here from McGinley. Holding off Plata. Swallowed up there by Bonner. The Celtic able to relax in these closing stages after being a little bit uncomfortable after the goal from Keith Wright. These Celtic supporters now, and not at all, they've got a cup final to enjoy at the end of the season. Free kick to Hibs. Taken very quickly, but given straight to Donnelly. Well, they can retain this. Lay off from Tweed. Here's Willie Miller. Here's Mitchell. McGinley's lay off. Nowhere to go there. He's being closed down by O'Donnell. And Andy Millen. Well, Hibs now showing signs that they accept defeat. Chances were there until that killer goal from O'Donnell. Evans with the layoff. That's McGinley. That's an excellent pass. Switching the play to O'Neill. Keith Wright's gone ahead of him. He's got on the ball this time, O'Neill. Fatigue perhaps setting in after the effort he's put into this second half.
He's not had much of a chance in this match, Michael, and he just gets into the box, and it seems those legs run out of him there. Not quite getting the breaks that he normally gets in a game, Michael O'Neill, but that was probably his only real good run, only real good chance he's had all night.
Millen played the forward. Keith Wright caught offside. There have been very few offside decisions tonight. That was one though. Keith Wright the culprit. And now the substitutions being made. Hibs are withdrawing Kevin Harper. On goes Joe Tortolano. So Jackson is being pushed forward to join Keith Wright in attack. So the midfield four for Hibs now is Evans, McGinley, O'Neill and Tortolano. Jackson joining Wright. It's the preferred striking option normally for Hibs. Here's John Collins. Back it goes to Ryan O'Neill. Next day. Collins forward. That's Donnelly. Now Collins again. Celtic quite happy to retain possession. Here's Paul McStay. Shown inside by Willie Miller. Slightly surprised at that situation. O'Neill. Well, Celtic ending the match as they began, in command. There's O'Donnell. He's offside. It's a free kick to Hibs. Terry, one difficult task remaining for you to name the man of the match.
Well, my man of the match tonight is Celtic player Willie Faulkner is my man of the match. I could have gone for Paul McStay, I could have gone for John Collins, especially that second goal, but Willie Faulkner has led the line magnificently for me. He's hardly wasted a header, hardly wasted a pass. He's been a perfect target man for Celtic, held the ball up, kept Celtic playing, has won the match for them. My man of the match, Willie Faulkner.
So the tenants man of the match, named by Terry Butcher. Willie Faulkner, the replacement striker for Pierre Van Hooydonk for Celtic. Scored that vital opening goal. There's Michael O'Neill, the free kick. Bonner's in trouble. That's Keith Wright lofting it in with a header. And it's turned off the line by O'Donnell. Well, he's been very influential since coming on as a second half substitute for Peter Grant. Millen played it in low. And O'Donnell again. Simon Donnelly breaking to the right. This is Collins. Now Donnelly. Here's Tosh McKinley. Now Phil O'Donnell. Simon Donnelly turning away from Millen, who looks a little bit tired now, as well he might. Here's Faulkner again. Nudging the ball beyond Mitchell, but away for the goal kick. So within 2 stoppage time, it's all over now, apart from the formalities.
Yes, very much so. Hibs look a well-beaten side. The difference for me in the game is that any balls up to the Celtic strikers, they've held the ball up well. Willie Faulkner's held the ball up well, whereas any ball up to the Hibs strikers has been patchy, has been poor, and it's been coming straight back onto the Hibs defence.
So Celtic head for their second cup final of the season, and the first ended in agony for Paul McStay in particular. The penalty shootout, they could have got a cup final against Wraith Rovers. Now they face First Division opposition again in the Tennis Scottish Cup final. This time it's the men from Airdrie. Paul McStay, though, had an outstanding match. The Celtic captain, he'll be delighted to be back in a final again with a chance to make amends. And John Collins too, another terrific player tonight for Celtic. The Scotland men in midfield, quite outstanding. They've enjoyed this occasion to the full, and it really has been a truly outstanding Celtic performance. They had to have a few moments of worry after Keith Wright pulled him back into the match to make it 2-1. Ryan O'Neill, that smile on his face goes in, the 22-year-old. And they have the opportunity to finish second in the Premier Division and go forward to win the Tennis Scottish Cup. That would make it a very satisfactory season, I'm sure, for Tommy Burns in his first term as Celtic manager. And down in the tunnel below us, Phil O'Donnell's with Davy Provan.
Phil, what's the result that puts Celtic
last April.